All right, we're back.
Here we are.
We've got a nice, exciting one here. We've got Luke Thies playing the Green-White Company, and Robert Meadows, who is a savage cheater, playing some deck that doesn't matter because he's a cheater.
Alright, well, I suppose our viewers are owed an explanation if you're just going to start spouting that off.
All right, here's the explanation. Robert Meadows was going to top 8 this tournament. This tournament being SCG Columbus, and instead he cheated
the
and got DQ'd.
The Classic, not the Open.
Oh, the Classic. Sorry, not the Open. Instead, he cheated and got DQ'd.
Yeah,
and
well,
so here we are.
Jeez.
Cheater versus company deck.
You're such a royal asshole when you want to be.
What are you talking about?
He misregistered his deck.
Cheated.
Yeah, right. This is an infraction. Have you ever misregistered a deck?
No.
That has to be a lie.
No, never have.
All right, well, I'm here with the perfect John Douglas, who has never made a mistake in his entire life.
I've made several mistakes, none of which have been misregistering a deck.
So Robert misregistered a deck, and the penalty was disqualification from the tournament. Now, the circumstances surrounding that are aggressive. It was an aggressive assessment of a penalty. And I don't think... I mean, while Robert did cheat...
Savagely.
I don't think I would call him a cheater.
Well...
There's some people that cheat that I would definitely call cheaters.
Yeah, Robert Meadows cheated, and this is a cheater. I mean, it's a very simple description there, definition. So what happened was, Robert registered 56 cards. He left off an entire playset of cards.
Yes.
He did this to angle shoot so that he could pre-sideboard against people.
Absolutely not. I don't think he did that at all.
He's angle shooting.
I think you're wrong.
Somebody check to see if that Mishra's Bobble's been registered in his deck. I don't believe it has.
We don't have deck lists tonight, so...
Lucky for Robert,
shut your
free
mouth.
to cheat here.
Shut your mouth.
Free to cheat.
Excuse me.
So yes, Devil's Magic. It was just one. He didn't register any of his Mishra's Baubles.
Yeah.
And yes, he just got DQ'd. I don't know. That's the story I get from Robert. I don't know the whole story. Yes, it sounds
wasn't there. Sounds very
excessive, but who knows?
All right. So I'm interested in finding out what's going on with this deck. I mean, it really does look like just a collection of random cards.
A mishmash.
I imagine the Mishra's Baubles in there to turn on Traverse the Uvenwald.
Perhaps. When he was putting this deck together, at one point it was 4-color and he had pack rats in it. If it tells you anything about how strange this deck is.
Yeah, it looks like alright, so here we are with a Scavenging Ooze versus a Tarmogoyf. This is why I can't advocate for these Green-White Company decks. I mean, like, this is just an anemic start.
It's not a good start. He did get a Bird Bolted, but then he didn't play a 3-drop on 3.
Right. Alright, so Robert's going all the way down to 10.
All the way down to 10. Looking for a forest. He's announced that forest is the target.
Alright, I guess we found this forest that, I mean, has no business. I mean, if you're going to have a one-of basic, make it unique. Make it stand out somewhat so you can find the damn thing. right.
So he went to
14 on the fetch and then 10 on the dismember.
Gotcha.
Couldn't resist adding a. Here's a Mirren Crusader.
We're gonna remand it, maybe.
All right, Mirren Crusader. So this card has pro green.
So that's somewhat relevant. Not relevant if Robert has a bolt.
Correct. It can't be dismembered.
Can be snap bolted though.
Yes, snap bolt.
So then this is going to be a big attack here. Swing for 7.
Not a small attack.
Not a wee attack.
And that puts Luke at just one swing to his death.
Yeah, so here's the untapped draw from Robert. He adds a Serum Visions. Luke's going to get down to 7.
Serum Visions has to be like the most important card in this deck because it's such a hodgepodge of craziness that I imagine you get into situations where like one of the cards, like some of the cards are just bad, like they just don't do anything.
Sure.
And so being able to filter them away is pretty important. Here's a tracker with Remand, and that's going to spell the end for Luke.
Yeah.
Alright. So I guess just any deck that plays a efficient threat plus backup removal and counter spells is a legitimate deck of Magic cards in this format. Does that sound like an equation to winning?
No.
In the modern format? Just
No, not at all.
I have a Tarmogoyf, or I have a Death Shadow, or I have, you know what I mean, or just any number of these.
I have no idea how this Temur pile wins against like any Tron deck. Storm seems miserable. Like Jeskai Control seems borderline unwinnable.
Yeah, maybe he's just out there preying on the Grixis and the Jund decks.
I don't think it's good against Jund necessarily. I didn't see his whole deck, just from what we saw.
Yeah.
It seems threat light. He's playing bolts, which are kind of like an outpaced removal spell, as weird as it is to say.
Yeah, they just get outgrown. Like Death
Right.
Shadows and Tarmogoyfs do not die to bolts anymore.
Yeah, same with like Tassigurs and Gurmag Anglers.
Sure.
So
Dice of St. Traft.
yeah, I mean that's whatever.
Restoration Angels.
Correct. Although that one costing 4 is a little bit less relevant.
Right. Scavenging Oozes, if you play them well, outgrow bolts.
True. Jun Guy does not want the dice on Goyf. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, when people do that in sanction matches, I mean, we do it on camera so that people can tell.
Right.
It's very hard to see graveyards sometimes on these camera matches, but if you're playing against me and you dice your Goyf, I'm not maintaining that. That's not.
No.
That's up to you if that's how you have to do it.
Correct.
I once played against a guy he played a deck that both had Anthem effects and effects that put counters on all his guys, and he wanted to maintain 2 sets of counters.
What?
One set of counters that were the Anthem effects, and the other set that was actual counters placed on creatures.
No, thank you.
And I had to explain to him what a damn mess it was.
It is a damn mess.
He just seemed to think it was, hunky-dory, and I'm like, you're an idiot. Also played against somebody who refused, I've had more than one person do this, refused to maintain a energy dice in Standard. Did you want to talk about a way to tilt me? Play an energy deck and insist on keeping your energy on a pad off to the side that's so small I can't see it from across the table.
Noted.
I mean, I will just go on full-blown sideways monkey tilt.
Yeah.
I might start throwing my poo. Like, that much tilt.
I really want to start playing energy now, just so when we play against each other, I can do
Just
that.
to tilt me?
Yeah.
So we have an upcoming PPTQ season.
Yeah. You can play some more standard.
More standard, but this is an exciting one because this
Agreed, that's not accurate. You get energy counters, you can't.
What?
Said it's not accurate because you get energy counters.
Oh, well, you don't have to convince me that it's misrepresenting the game state.
We know that it's misrepresenting the game state. That's why it tilts him so much.
Yes. Yeah, and when I have to tell people things like this, I look like such a dickhead. I look like the, try hard tournament, and I'm really not that guy. Used to be, I have been that guy in the past.
Okay.
I try not to be that guy anymore. I try to be more relaxed.
You're not an angle shooter like Robert Meadows. You're just
I wouldn't call myself an angle shooter. I just try and, maintain the rules to produce fair play.
Absolutely.
All right, so Luke's going to be on the play this time. Let's see if he can untap with his bird this time.
Yeah, that's very relevant for him.
Yes. I mean, we've got a matchup here where Robert's bolts are going to shine.
Yeah, bolts are good here.
So is this the PPTQ season? I wanted to talk about this. Is this the PPTQ season where the RPTQs are going to be team and only one person on your team has to have qualified?
Correct.
This is going to be the softest PTQ season ever.
Yeah.
Because, once your team is qualified, you're,
So if my team qualified, then I would keep playing.
You would keep playing?
Yeah, that's one less team you got to play against. If you queue.
Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Do a little gatekeeping.
I never thought of that. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could gatekeep. Or you could just go to all the tournaments and, just make people sell you the seed.
Yeah.
I don't need this seed. I need you to give me all the prizes.
All the prizes.
Alright, so Robert has a checklist card on top of his deck. I don't know what card it is. It is not a Delver.
Not a Delver.
We know that much. A Delver would be in play already.
Also borderline unplayable in his deck.
Are we going to spell snare this? Yep. So the Voice of Resurgence is going to mean a spell snare.
Very timely.
This card is super good. I mean, I love spell snare. I don't know why all the blue decks don't play it.
It's not very good right now.
It's got a target in every deck. What deck doesn't have 2-mana spells?
Not really 2-mana spells, but relevant 2-mana spells. Correct. Once you queue, you can't play any more PPTQs, but if your teammate queues, then you don't have to play because you just get invited with them, but you can continue to play because you technically are not queued yourself.
Right.
You don't have to announce your teams beforehand or whatever.
Right. Yeah, so you can Dream Crush just to be a butthead.
Just to be a butthead. So, decks without relevant 2-drops, like Grixis Death Shadow doesn't really have any relevant 2-drops.
Snapcaster Mage.
Not really relevant.
Dude, that card is a cornerstone of that deck. The deck doesn't have nearly the level of card advantage it requires without Snapcaster Mage in it.
Correct, but it's not like an on-curve.
So no, I'm saying that you just get ahead on mana by orchestrating these situations where you know that their Snapcaster Mage isn't going to resolve.
Once you get to a certain point, getting ahead on mana isn't as relevant. And if they're playing Gurmag Anglers and you're stuck with Spell Snares in your hand, you're just going to die.
I mean, if they're playing Gurmag Anglers and you're stuck with Inquisition of Kozilek in your hand, you're just going to die too.
Correct.
People still play Inquisition of Kozilek.
Yeah, because it's a great card. Not narrow at all. Can target your opponent 100% of them. Unless they have Hexproof.
Unless they have the Orbs of Warding.
The Orbs of Warding. or the $30 ley line of Sanctities.
All right, here's a 4th land for Luke. This is really the...
Yeah, Snap's good. There's no question about Snap being good in like Grixis Death Shadow. I just don't think it's very necessary. Like you can 100% win with the deck without it.
All right, so Scavenger Ooze is a really important card against these Snapcaster Mage decks.
Oh, absolutely.
Because now he's going to get to like chip away at Robert's graveyard, and Robert can't snap bolt it. He has to have a natural bolt.
Well, he does have the engineered explosives for 2.
Oh, he's making it bigger. I don't know that I can get behind this line of play.
Well, so it removes creatures from his yard, so it'll shrink in a future Goyf, I guess. Although I suppose Scavenger Ooze is just going to replace it. So, yeah, I would have definitely eaten the lightning bolt. I'm fine with eating 1 creature. Oh.
Sigarda, the Host of Herons.
Oh boy, that's a biggin.
So he can't sacrifice creatures. I believe Luke now has hexproof. Can we pull that one up?
Sigarda has hexproof. And he doesn't have to sacrifice permanents. It's
right.
the other Sigarda that gives Luke and humans he controls hexproof.
Your opponent's control can't cause you to sacrifice. Yeah, this card is a nice one.
Yeah, this is a...
I don't know that Robert...
It was a Garruk Relentless.
Yep, the old flip-doop Garruk.
Garruk dead.
Garruk down. We've got more action here. You can hear the voice. Ramanap Excavator. This is a card you were excited to see in the top 8ing.
Well, he's playing basically
deck.
the same list as was in the top 8. There's a lot of card advantage to be generated.
I think it's slow and unimpressive. I agree that it will generate card advantage over time. And probably against the control decks, it's really good.
Yeah, so this isn't the main point of your deck is to get a Ramanap Excavator out and just play lands from your graveyard, but it being able to do this in the late game is like a very real deal. And doing this with either Courser of Crewfix or Ghost Quarter, which he has,
Yep.
or Tireless Tracker generates a ton of advantage.
Sure. Here's the snap for the Serum Visions. Robert looking at all kinds of serum.
Garruk Relentless. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the flip Garruk there.
Yeah, it's a nice card. I mean, it's got a lot of activated abilities. It's got a lot of modes. It's one of those cards that once you're used to playing with it, it makes it very hard. It's a hard card to play against. Because your opponent has to go down all these lines that are possible for you now. I think that's one of the things that people underrate about Planeswalkers is that when they have 2 relevant abilities at least to activate.
Tireless Tracker for Robert.
They become super hard to play against.
What's this last card for Luke? Do you think it's a company?
It's probably a land. He probably drew too much land.
I think it's a company.
I think this land would be untapped if it was a company. Because he wants a company on Robert's turn. That way, if Robert responds, he would be getting a token from the Voice Resurgence. At least that's how the line I would have taken. I mean, I'm, no expert or fan of this deck.
I think it was a path.
Oh, Luke leaves a point on the board.
Yeah, not incredibly relevant here.
If Robert draws a fetch land, it could be.
Fair.
Alright.
So there's the path. So he's going to get to search out a basic, shuffle, and then draw a card. I think you just let him draw the card and then path it, right? Because you want him to draw lands.
You could really draw the remand or something. I mean, I don't know, like some card.
Remand would be a bad card for him to draw for that.
Yeah,
sure.
But
like a regular counterspell.
Yeah, like something. I don't know. Who knows what could be in Robert's deck? You're interacting with one less card by pathing it before he draws the card.
Right. So Sigarda, host of the Herons.
Yeah, taking it down.
She's a biggin.
She's hosting, man. The dinner party's at her house.
Absolutely.
So tomorrow night we want everybody to tune in. John and I are going to square off with some of the updated standard decks. I know you're excited about your Godfarer's gift list getting all kinds of new tricks.
One in particular.
Not so many tricks, but permanents that are...
The finest tribe in all of Ixalan is going to lend its strength to the Godfarer's gift deck.
The humans?
No, the Chupacabra.
Yeah, the Chupacabra is probably going to be...
It's the best tribe.
It is the best tribe. I've got a couple updated lists. I got a Dinos deck. I think that's come together now that we have rampant growth for Dinos.
Yeah. You're just playing red green though. You're not playing Jund.
Do you think I need to play Jund? Do I think I need the Chupacabra?
I think Jund Dinos is the future.
The future?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah. Wait, the Spotter Monkey thinks Jund is just better.
It's good.
It's very good. I mean, Jund's very good. I want
to play all Jund everything, to be fair. So
I just want to curve out into this 12-12.
I don't think the 12-12 does
with
anything.
Registar Alpha in play. Give it haste. Just get you, man.
Yeah. I don't think it's particularly good. So here's the problem.
I think it's big. I think the
big.
Chupacabra kills it.
Chupacabra kills it. You can't play stuff that doesn't do stuff anymore. It just doesn't. You can't do it. And it just doesn't.
Like you think the cards need to have comes into play abilities that are relevant,
or like board impacting abilities.
Okay. I agree that you want to have those kind of things going on.
You definitely want to have those things going on. I think in standard right now you need to have those things going on.
Yep.
What is this?
Is this a suspended?
No, it's a Latinam Renegade. It's a 1/2 death touch with revolt. Put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Sure. Okay. So I'm certainly revolted by the inclusion of this card.
So this card is particularly good against like the Eldrazi decks, like Bant Eldrazi in particular.
Yeah, because it's got the death touch, so it's very easy to
just to trade
take
off.
down a bigger guy.
Yeah, but it's more cute than anything. It still dies to everything.
Yeah, it's like it's a Curd Ape with an ability. So like I guess it's like the best Curd Ape.
The best Curd Ape. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I mean there's Curd Ape, there's Loam Lion, and then there's this guy.
And there's Nerd Ape.
There's the Nerd Ape. That might be the worst Curd Ape.
Yeah.
It just has the highest.
It wouldn't be the
threshold.
worst Curd Ape if you could play Artifact Lands. But
I mean, if we're playing Artifact Lands, we're on a totally different.
We're just playing Curd Apes, man.
Totally
Curd Ape
different
Artifact
wavelength.
All right. So we're playing lots of 2/3s.
I mean, Luke's got a non-zero number of 2/2s in his deck.
Yeah.
So in the world of 2/2s, the 2/3 is king.
Especially 2/3 Death Touch, because you're gonna get a 2-for-1 whenever you get double blocked by some Grizzly Bears.
There you go.
What? Why are we pathing this?
Yeah, I can't imagine putting Robert ahead on land is
That is just
where you
very
want to be.
aggressive. Very aggressive.
We know he has high impact 4-drops in the form of Garuk. I assume like a Huntmaster's in this deck as well. Next week you're gonna have to worry about the Chupacabra.
I don't think Chupacabra is going to make its way into Modern, but it is the best tribe in Standard, so it's very possible.
Agreed.
We need a Chupacabra Lord is what we need.
Jeez, what would the Chupacabra Lord do?
I don't know, man.
Whenever a Chupacabra targets another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on all your Chupacabras.
It's pretty solid.
It costs 5.
How about this, guy? Is this a Spirit of the Labyrinth?
Yes, so this says players can only draw 1 card a turn. And Robert Meadows is going to have himself a Spirit Roast.
Yeah, he just roasted a Spirit of the Labyrinth.
Delicious.
Rude. Here it is. Each player can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Shuts off cantrips.
It's a 3/1.
It is a 3/1.
Yeah, so 3/1's like the rate you want for 2 mana in a white deck, and this one has an additional ability, so...
Yeah, like Raptor Companion.
I think I stored about 10 or 11 of these, hoping they would take off as like a very important sideboard card.
Did not.
Did not happen. They're in a box somewhere.
In a box.
I will get a dime for them at some point in my life. Alright, so Luke's going to go to 7.
All the way down to 7.
Robert's very aggressive start here. He could snap roast. No. We haven't seen Luke cast at a collected company at all.
Correct.
And I feel like if you spend a whole match not casting that card, you're going to have a bad time.
Absolutely.
He passes the turn, never gets to 4 mana. Robert is not going to let this... Alright. So Dramoka's command is going to let him prevent the damage from the bolt and have...
fight.
Or he chooses not to fight.
Get a counter on it at least.
He gets a counter on. I think now he can block the Goyf. If that Goyf die is accurate. Alright, so there's no creatures yet. I wasn't questioning what the Goyf's power and toughness were. I was
Gonna get a dismembering here. We have to eat this bolt in response, I believe. Probably just dead either way. Eat the serum visions. What is that?
There you go. Yeah, you got to eat the bolt. Well, if he goes to eat the bolt, he can just snap bolt him anyway. Yeah.
I mean, still, it's the better card to eat.
Yeah, so Luke never got to cast a Collected Company, which is really the card that takes him from being at parity with a deck like Robert's to being ahead.
All right, so we've got about 20 minutes before the next round. I want everybody to come up with their own Lord of the Chupacabras. I'm going to come up with one. I'm going to give it some thought. You're going to come up with one. It's probably going to be...
Mine needs an activated ability still, but...
Oh, you want it to have an activated ability?
Oh, yeah, it's going to have an activated ability.
Okay. All right, well, you think about that.
We'll have a Chupacabra Fest when we come back.
Yeah, I'll think about it, and we'll see you guys here in about 20.